Morgan Ashley, bringing you the content that connects our communities. You're watching NonStop Local Pulse Prime.
Well, right now we are following some breaking news. You're looking at video we've taken of East Valley High School and Middle School. The district hoping to repair and replace these schools by passing a $220 million bond. Good evening. I'm Morgan Ashley. Welcome to Pulse Prime tonight. Voters in the East Valley School District are weighing in on that. Just shy of 50% of voters have in fact voted yes, but over 50% are voting no for this bond. This is the first drop of numbers tonight, but Spokane County has listed the number of ballots left to count at 0. The 9 Mile Falls area is trying to pass a capital levy to make some improvements to Lakeside High School. Over 53% of voters saying no, 46% voting yes. Now, this is not the first time the East Valley School District has tried to get this bond passed. It's historically been difficult, and the bond does require a supermajority, meaning that 60% of voters need to vote to approve it. Supporters say students are learning in buildings that are 70 years old, and many saw this as a chance to create new opportunities for them. Well, continuing coverage as we have learned the 3 identities of the girls killed in a car crash in Othello over the weekend. You can see in this image here posted to Facebook. Tropical Express is holding a fundraiser for the families of Yuritsi, Melissa, and Iris. All sale profits will go directly to family members. They add, quote, "Let's come together as a community to show love, support, and compassion." Police say 19-year-old Prisciliano Perez Pineda caused the crash that killed all 3. Deputies say he did not call 911 after the crash and instead left the scene. He appeared in court on Monday. Perez Pineda faces 3 counts of vehicular homicide, including domestic violence as a designation on one of those counts.
We had isolated showers across the inland northwest for today. Some of those showers still remain as of this evening, and a lot of those are starting to clear out. Let's take a look at some of the currents right now. Currently, it's 54 degrees in Spokane, 49 towards Coeur d'Alene. Winds are gusting up to about 15 miles an hour in both areas. Tri-Cities, 61 degrees and 57 as we head towards Yakima. We're starting to see some clearing skies as we're losing some of that daytime heating. This will mean those showers will really subside overnight, but there is still a couple that are heading into the Idaho Panhandle. Here's one in particular towards Sandpoint. You can see some heavier showers moving through the region as of now. Here's a look at your planner for tomorrow. Those temperatures are going to be nice and warm into the mid to upper 60s across Spokane and Coeur d'Alene, into the 70s as we head towards Yakima as well as the Tri-Cities. We'll have your full forecast coming up shortly. Morgan, back to you.
All right, thanks so much, Tori. As the Stevens County deputy was shot overnight responding to a burglary call. That deputy is alive but was shot in their upper chest shoulder area, requiring surgery. Sheriff's office says this happened at least 1/2 mile away from the corner of Suncrest Drive in Greenfield. This is in Suncrest, where police arrived to that scene about 3 a.m. today. It all started when somebody actually called 911 saying that a suspect was breaking into their garage. The caller was not home at the time and told dispatchers no one had permission to be there. As soon as deputies made it into the home, they say they took on fire, and that is when the deputy was hit twice. The injured deputy was returning fire and then helped out by other deputies. Hours later, around 7:30 in the morning, deputies were able to actually make contact with the suspect, still inside, but eventually lost contact. Once they got inside with a drone, they saw the suspect dead in a bedroom, which police believe was self-inflicted. The Washington State Patrol's taken over this investigation in accordance with state law when it comes to police-involved shootings. The injured deputy has made it through surgery and is listed in stable condition. The identities of those involved have not been released. Well, in a crime tracker alert tonight, Spokane police say a fight escalated to a stabbing, ending with 2 men hurt. Spokane police say this happened in the area of West Thorpe Road and West Westwood Lane, which is a wooded area. They got the call last night about 8:45 p.m. The caller told them that some had been stabbed with a machete. Police found a man with injuries they say were consistent with being stabbed. He was transported to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Another man involved showed up at a local hospital with similar injuries. Ultimately, investigators believe there was a confrontation between the two that led to both men hurting each other with knives. They say they have probable cause to charge one of them with second-degree assault, but no arrest has been made yet because of the medical treatment that is involved. A 24-year-old Hermiston man was killed in a hit-and-run crash on I-84. This is near Hood River. That is according to Oregon State Police. Police said that Hunter Clay Miller was walking in the travel lane, when he was hit by a westbound driver. He died at the scene. A black Harley-Davidson motorcycle was found about a few miles east of the crash, but police have not confirmed if it was connected to Miller. If you have any information about this, you are urged to contact OSP, that number right there on your screen.
I want to be perfectly clear. We will not allow GEO Group's continued obstruction and brazen disregard for state law to go unchallenged.
Well, Washington State is taking legal action to force health inspections at the Northwest Ice Processing Center in Tacoma. It comes after thousands of complaints about conditions inside the facility. Governor Bob Ferguson says the GEO Group, which runs the private detention center, has blocked state health inspectors from entering the facility 10 times despite a state law requiring oversight. Officials say they received more than 3,500 complaints. The governor says the state's now asking a federal court to order GEO to let those inspectors in. A hearing is expected soon. If granted, inspectors could enter the facility to investigate those allegations. Richland leaders are looking to make some big improvements downtown they say could boost economic development, but some people still have questions about it. Here's Brendan Jen.
To just create a place where people want to be and a destination to cue people into Richland.
The Downtown Loop project in Richland looks to improve the downtown area while increasing traffic flow and safety, but it's already 11 months behind schedule.
It will be able to move people more effectively through our downtown, and so that commuter traffic will still be there. We, fully expect to accommodate that, but be able to also accommodate other uses that you find in your downtown.
The project converts George Washington Way and Jadwin Avenue into one-way streets with 3 lanes in each direction and bike lanes. Economic Development Manager Mandy Wallner says the project adds wider sidewalks, better lighting, and space for public art.
So while we're changing roads, it's really more about creating that vibrancy and moving people more efficiently. So speeds will come down, and it will create that real safe kind of placemaking for pedestrians.
Speeds in the downtown area will drop to 25 miles per hour. Jadwin and G-Way will stay open during construction with occasional lane closures and detours. Wallner says the project could also spur new developments.
On commercial properties, you could start seeing apartment complexes and mixed-use developments that maybe go higher as opposed to that, first, second floor type development that we're used to. And so I think you'll start to see Richland grow up, for lack of a better term, for the downtown.
People are concerned about the construction's impact on businesses in the area, but the city has a plan.
We would intend to have businesses open during that entire time and plan to. We plan to function construction around, closed hours and nights and those kinds of things where possible in order to try to limit the impact of businesses.
Final plans are complete and funding is secured. They're still waiting on right-of-way acquisitions. Groundbreaking is expected to start in the winter this year. The city says the project will finish in winter 2028.
This is just really a way for our residents to feel safe in the downtown, come out more often, and come and stay. Plan your day down here as opposed to, come down and run an errand and go home.
Come on, girl. There you go.
Well, caught on camera near Yakima, sheriff's deputies worked with farmers and community members to save a cow that had fallen into a canal. The 2-year-old steer floated downstream for nearly 4 miles. Nearby farmers and homeowners tried to rope it in and successfully did so as it was headed toward a boat launch. The locals got him out of the water and brought him to safety before the owners were found. Well, college basketball season is still several months away, but the big dance could be changing formats. Noah Schmick joins us now with more on that. A new face for the Gonzaga Bulldogs as well.
Yeah, both very important. But let's talk about the NCAA tournament first, Morgan. That was a big one. As the NCAA tournament, multiple reports are saying that it is in the final stages of expanding both the men's and women's basketball tournaments from 64 to 76 teams. Now discussions, they are still ongoing according to these reports, but a final resolution could come as early as mid-May. Here's some of the framework for 12 new opening round games that will expand on the current first 4 games that are played in Dayton. The opening round games would still take place on Tuesday and Wednesday, but would grow to 24 teams and be played in Dayton and a second site that's still to be determined. The 12 lowest ranked automatic bid teams would face the 12 lowest ranked at-large teams. The winners of those 12 games would then advance to the current 64-team format. And speaking of college basketball, the Gonzaga men, they picked up one of their biggest transfers through the portal today. Arizona State big man Masamba Diop is reportedly committed to Gonzaga. The 7'1" freshman center, he averaged over 13 points a game and just under 6 rebounds per game last season with the Sun Devils. So that's a big get for the Gonzaga Bulldogs, who of course lose Graham Ike and Ismaila Diani and Masamba Diop. I was there at that Arizona State game. He is big and he's going to be really good.
All right, we're looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Noah. Still to come here tonight on Pulse Prime, City Council reviewing the proposed Spokane Valley Ice Arena, where that stands and if a decision has been made.
Clearing skies across the inland northwest, with the exception of a couple mountain showers and possibility for a few thunderstorms for your Wednesday. We'll have your full forecast after the break.
Content connecting community. You're watching The Pulse.
Hey everybody, it's nice to see you. I'm Bradley Warren here in the Pulse studios. This is The Pulse. The UAE is announcing today that it will exit OPEC, stripping the group of a key producer. The leave is set for May 1st, with the possibility of lowering oil prices if the UAE increases production. Now, with all that being said, crude oil has risen 50% since President Donald Trump's war with Iran. Nationally, $4 a gallon is what we're sitting at, while here in Washington, $5.50, and in Idaho, we're looking at $4. With that being said, there is still also the blockade in place by the United States. The U.S. military saying today that it boarded and then released another commercial ship suspected of being heading in the direction of Iran. Now, with that being also said, this marks 39 vessels redirected according to Central Command. Peace talks still underway. Obviously a very volatile situation, as Iran is offering to open the strait on Monday if the U.S. lifts its port blockade and ends the war. Secretary of State Marco Rubio ruling out any deal excluding Iran's nuclear program. All right, nationally, King Charles continues his visit to Washington, D.C. to mark the 250th anniversary of our independence from Britain. Addressing a joint session of Congress today on Capitol Hill, the last time a monarch addressed Congress was in 1991 at the invitation of the Speaker of the House, Tom Foley. The King reminded lawmakers that words and actions from American leaders carried global weight, also emphasizing that nations need to come together to resolve the conflict with Ukraine. We'll leave it right here. Thank you so much for being with us on The Pulse. I'm Bradley Warren.
Well, some continuing coverage here as Spokane Valley City Council votes this evening on whether construction begins as early as tomorrow on a proposed ice rink at a Sullivan development property. NonStop Local's Ainsley Anderson joins us now. City Council's been discussing this for quite some time tonight.
Yeah, Morgan. Well, the Spokane Valley City Council has been talking on the matter for nearly 3 hours, welcoming public comments, questions, and a final presentation from the Innovia Investment Group. Now, leaders with the city say it will add a new amenity to the valley. However, some community members are questioning the city's single-digit lease rate to developers. Now, council has officially voted in a 6-to-1 vote to accept the land lease in order to bring an ice rink to Spokane Valley. The accepted lease to Ignite Youth Ice will be for $1 a year over 75 years, with an option to extend to 99 years. Now, the city also has the option to buy the facility for $9.4 million. However, we've been tracking the mixed reactions out of council chambers tonight. Some community members say they feel the minimal lease is a missed opportunity.
Please renegotiate the ground lease to better serve all Spokane Valley if the ice rink is such an important project to pursue, which obviously it is. Everybody here wants it, and I understand. $415,000 a year could easily help the city's infrastructure and many other current needs. That kind of public giveaway is inexcusable. Just my opinion.
While other community members share their support, stating lack of ice time in the inland Northwest.
As a parent of a figure skater, we are up before 4 a.m. because we have a 40-minute drive to Coeur d'Alene. We were there by 5:30 yesterday morning.
We're practicing late. I know Coeur d'Alene has 3 or 4 teams on the ice until about 10:30, sharing what would be an acceptable space for 2 teams. They got 3 or 4.
Now, opinions across council, while mixed, ultimately pulling through for an approved vote, with Councilman Al Merkel the opposed.
So, for that reason, I just don't feel like I can support this right now. I apologize.
And also, we have an opportunity. As a government, we are supposed to make decisions. I agree with that. We're not supposed to just say, well, let's say no to everything. This will really affect people for generations to come and their families. So I'm supporting this.
My kids were in hockey and they had to go at 4 a.m. at the age of 5 to get ice time. It hasn't changed. The only thing that's going to make that change is more ice.
And that the vast majority of the taxpayers, both today and in the future, will probably never utilize it. So while I understand that there are concessions and potential financial benefits to the city for building this, I feel like this lease isn't the best that could have been done for the citizens.
Now, the meeting just wrapped up in chambers. And as for construction, we will continue to update you as soon as developers break ground on that property off of Sullivan. Reporting in studio, I'm Ainsley Anderson.
Partly cloudy skies from Yakima to the Tri-Cities and over to Spokane. We're still seeing a couple showers for this evening as well. Temperatures into the 50s and 60s across the inland Northwest. We do have a couple showers mainly towards the Idaho Panhandle right now. We have low pressure starting to shift off further east, and that'll mean a couple showers will linger into these late overnight hours. But as we lose the daytime heating, it's already starting as of now, we're going to start to see those showers slowly disappear up towards Oroville, even down towards Omak. Still seeing one of those showers moving through the region. Some of us saw a thunderstorm or two today as well. And that'll be the trend as we head into your Wednesday. When you wake up tomorrow morning, 40 degrees towards Coeur d'Alene. We have 39 towards Spokane, 39 Chewelah, and about 43 over towards Portland. Going to be a brisk morning, and the winds are going to be very calm. But by the time we get to the late afternoon, we're starting to see a couple mountain showers. Even a thunderstorm or two is a possibility. If you're towards Spokane, Coeur d'Alene, Yakima, or even the Tri-Cities, very likely you're just going to experience sunshine for your Wednesday. But keep in mind the period for those isolated thunderstorms and showers will be between about noon and even into about 7 p.m. So again, those are primarily going to be for the mountain ranges, and you can see that here. Highs tomorrow are going to be in the mid-60s for Coeur d'Alene and Spokane, warmer towards Yakima, 74 for your high, 72 down south towards Hermiston. Isolated mountain showers expected. We're expecting fair weather temperature after your Wednesday. This is because high pressure ridging is going to start to be moving in. You can see the high pressure right over here. That's bringing some warmer temperatures. We also have a low pressure system off the coast of California, and we're expecting this to travel straight eastward over towards San Francisco. However, if this system does end up moving further north, that'll mean temperatures are going to stay slightly cooler as we head into this weekend. As of now, we're expecting our first 80-degree day by the time we get to Monday. In the meantime, Bloomsday, going to be nice and beautiful. We're expecting a high of 79. Again, if that low pressure moves further north, we're going to be seeing highs more into the mid-70s rather than the upper 70s. But here's a look at that 7-day. I'm expecting about 79 for that high on Sunday, 80s when we head into next week, Monday and Tuesday. However, that's even warmer for Yakima and the Tri-Cities, seeing those temperatures even nearing 90 degrees for Monday and about 88 for Tuesday. So it is going to be toasty no matter what. We're still going to be seeing above average temperatures. We'll be right back after the break.
From the Northern Quest Sports Studio, this is SWX NonStop Local Sports.
Seattle Mariners, they continued their 6-game road trip with a stop in Minnesota last night, but the Twins got the best of them in Game 1. Game 2, Logan Gilbert on the mound, but in the 5th inning, Walter made his first crucial mistake. A high fastball to Byron Buxton. Yeah, he tees off on it. Twins in front 1-0 after that solo blast. 1 inning later, though, Josh Naylor at the plate rips a liner here into left field. Julio Rodriguez going to speed home as it's all tied up at 1 run each. We'll take you to the 7th inning now. Cole Young at the plate slaps a blooper the opposite way. It's going to plate Randy Arozarena, who's running home from third for the go-ahead run. But that's not all. Naylor back up to bat, I should say, in the 8th inning. And that is a no-doubter. All the way out to the right field concourse. 7-1 Mariners. That is all thanks to Naylor's stellar day at the plate. That means the rubber match tomorrow morning just after 10:30. Gonzaga baseball team, they came into today's midweek matinee matchup on a program record 14-game win streak, facing the 13th ranked team in the land, Oregon, who had a 4-2 lead in the 7th inning. Until Noah Meffert drills this solo blast over the right field wall, I should say, make it a 1-run deficit for GU. And in the 8th inning, Meffert would be back up to bat. This time, bases loaded, but he strikes out swinging. GU bullpen, they kept Oregon off the board in the end, but the Ducks end the comeback here with this grounder by Bo Schenkel for the final out of the ball game, as a 3-run first inning is enough for the Ducks to snap the longest active win streak in Division I baseball at 14 games. Eastern Washington Eagles, they hit the red this afternoon in their final week of spring football camp. They've got just 2 practices left if you also count the annual red-white game on Friday. But the Eags, they continue to work on being more consistent, something they found spurts of on Saturday in their second scrimmage, as the offense finally found a rhythm against the veteran defensive front. But head coach Aaron Best wants this final week to be about cleaning up the mistakes and wants the offense to challenge the defense for some better looks to end spring camp.
Make them work for their takeaways on defense, but just some cleanliness, which I felt like we really did a good job last week, where it flowed 6 play drives, 8 play drives, 10 play drives, stops on defense, field goals, punts. It was kind of a little bit of everything because if it's all one-sided, I don't know what you get out of that.
As the Eagles, they will hold their annual red-white game for fans to come see those new-look Eags on Friday afternoon.
Well, we hope you had a great day. Thanks for ending it with us. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
More Ashley, bringing you the content that connects our communities.